Good day, everyone. I'm FPS Chasley, and if you do not know me, I love Dangerous Waters. This is one of my favorite games, and I make tons of videos for this game. So I've felt the need to create a tutorial series to show people how to play this game because it is not a trivial endeavor. It definitely is. It's definitely something that's going to take a while to really learn and nail down to develop an intuition for, but I hope to help you along the way. So this is the first in a long series. Well, I'm not sure how long it's actually going to be, but definitely probably at least 10 videos, a long tutorial series teaching you how to play this game. So let's get started. This first video is going to cover navigation, the map, and the bridge, or the Conn rather. This is the first screen of many screens that you use to control the ships and her various sensors and functions. So we'll just do an overview of the map you see, or the screen you see when you start the game. So top left, this will display ship info. It only showed in this format if you have the truth on, or if you're looking at your own ship. If you're looking at like a new contact, it'll have this look to it. But more on that later. We'll get to that later. For now, I just want to go over the basic interface. So we have that. Right here, you got a compass. It's basically showing which way the camera is pointing. So moving down to the left, this is a quick way to get to your various screens, like the Conn. Conn is short for control room. So whenever you see someone say CONN Conn, that means control room. And you can get to all the other screens here, like fire control, sonar. You can also use the F1 keys. F1 will take you to the bridge, and F2 will take you to the sonar. But I'm not going to show that. I just don't. Not even going to get into that in this first video. I'm going to get stuck going off on some tangent. So moving over from that, we have the quick menu. You can use this to quickly issue commands such as go into periscope depth or right full rudder. You can use hotkeys too. We can raise all our masts, stream all our sensors, and you can even tell it which auto cruise you want to have on. And you can launch countermeasures too. So yeah, there's that. And then moving to the right, we have the damage control. If you get damaged, this will show what got damaged and how long it's going to take to repair. Moving on further, this is our message window. The blue circle here, this is messages from people on your sub, like EOW. This is what is EOW? I think that's engineering officer of the watch. I think that's what that is. I believe that's what that is. Basically, it means it's from maneuvering, as you can see it here, maneuvering eye. You'll have others like COW, which is chief of the watch. He works the masts and antennas and everything. And you got a sonar, fire control. Right here, the green square. This is the this is where you get your radio messages from headquarters and stuff like that, or potentially other ships. And the triangle here is multiplayer messages. And as I showed before, you can bring this up. It'll show the entire history of messages sent for the match. So there's that. Alright, moving on here, this displays everything that your current ship is doing. Depth, we're at 369 feet. That is the depth measured from the free surface of the ocean down to the bottom of the sub, also known as the keel. And then keel is the depth beneath the keel. So we're at 369 feet. There's 15,000 feet beneath the keel, so if you add those two numbers together, it will give you the depth of the ocean where we are right now. And it indeed does. Yeah, that would add it to around 15,400 feet, so there you go. That's how I figured out that where depth was measured from. It's the bottom of the keel. Course 000. We were heading due north right now. It's a 360 degree compass. 000 is north, 90 is east, 180 is south, 270 is west. Below that is actual speed. So if we order for 10 knots here, EOW will acknowledge he'll acknowledge the change in speed, but then it won't show our ordered speed. It'll show our actual speed as we climb to 10 knots there. So there's that. And over on the right shows the time, military time. I believe it's supposed to show Zulu time. It should show Zulu time, which is the same as Greenwich Mean Time. Subs at sea, at least for America, they all use the same time scale. It just makes it really easy to figure out what's going on, what and when. So yeah, American subs always use Zulu time. And over the right, we have time acceleration. It'll go all the way up to 16 times speed, because there will be missions where you'll definitely want that. So go to 2 times speed, 4 times speed, 8 times speed, and 16 times speed. And if you want to spend an entire 5 hours doing a mission, be my guest. I don't particularly care for that too much, so I will definitely be speeding up time from time to time. All right, so that's our little visual interface here. So this is the nav map. This shows where everything is in the map right now. This is kind of just like a test map. We don't really have any targets out here or anything to be messing with us right now, so there's nothing else really showing up. We saw that manual solution I put out there. Okay, so the way this solution is showing up right now, this indicates we know nothing about it other than the fact that it's there from whatever sensor told us it was there. So you can well, I'll get into that in a second. So if you right click here, it brings up a whole host of items. You can filter out all different kinds of things. I don't really use these filters at all. I've never really seen the need to. If you have a really cluttered map with a lot of targets in close, you might need it, but I prefer to see everything. Because you can zoom in really far to get the resolution you want. You can zoom down to a scale of 100 yards. Layers, so you got link data. This is when ships share information about these types of contacts. Not actual contacts, but it'll make more once I explain this next thing. This is truth. So right now we have truth off, which means we don't really know where people ever actually are. We just make approximations of where they are. They can be really good approximations and very good guesses, but we're never going to know exactly where someone is. So show truth will show that. I'll actually turn it on here. The hotkey is Control-Shift-T, and we got an enemy Akula submarine out here. So yeah, he's too far to be picking him up anyway, so we never would. So turn the truth off, Control-Shift-T. So show allies is the same thing, except it just shows allies. And then hide country borders is pretty self-explanatory here. Then we go down here to drawing tools. You can add a mark. So if you get like a whiff of someone, you can add a mark potentially to keep track of what they're doing. You can label it if you want. You have area circles. You can put these anywhere and just show, I don't know, maybe an area you're looking for, an area where you think a sub might be. I sometimes use them in missions that required. Sometimes the missions will tell you a target's speed and course. So using area circles, you can plot out like where it's supposed to, where it'll be eventually. You can do a range circle. You have to do this from a contact. So the maximum range of the torpedo that our ship uses is 26 nautical miles. So if I draw a range circle out to 26 nautical miles, that's the maximum range that we can engage a target with a torpedo. So yeah, the range circle is going to be really helpful. All right, so I covered that nav map pretty decently. Let's go over here to this contact here. So it'll list the contact name. Z, I guess, is the prefix for manual solution. You have other prefixes. S, the prefix S means you think it's like a submerged contact. You have E, which means you detected it by detecting his radar emissions or something. And then you also have M, which is a master, which means you've made a contact on two different sensors. So maybe the ESM and maybe the sonar. So you merge those together and you get a master contact. So going to, there's other prefixes, but they're pretty self-explanatory. If you see someone on the periscope, it'll be V for visual contact. ID, this is friendly, neutral, foe, unknown. Category, so you're looking at surface ship, submarine, helicopter. Well, it would just say like airplane or something. Class, and then this is where you really break it down. So we're a Los Angeles class submarine, so if this was us, it would show Los Angeles right there. Confidence, this is how confident you are that the target is what it is and not where it is. This is your confidence on what the target is. Is it a Los Angeles? Is it a Seawolf? Is it a Akula? That's what the confidence comes into play with. It's not the confidence of the solution. And we're about to get into a solution. So solution, bearing. This is his bearing on our 360-degree compass relative to our ship. This is his range relative to our ship. This is his course, and this is his speed. This comes into play with, this is basically everything you need to know about a ship to be able to engage it, are these four variables. Bearing error is obviously just how sure you are of what bearing he's actually on. Bearing rate, this shows how, the rate at which the target is changing on your compass here. It's a bearing rate of left at 0.1 degrees per minute. So left is relative to your ship. Basically, to figure out if it's left or right, go from your ship, to the target and pretend you're looking at the target from the ship. So left is this way, right's this way. it's going to the left even though it has 0 knots because we're going north, so he's moving to us relatively to the left. Age is also very important here, since if this was a contact that we had originally determined was something that was actually there and not just something I put in there. If it had an age of 11 minutes, that would signify to us that the contact has disappeared. Maybe he stopped. We're not getting any more data on him. If you get to an age of about 4 minutes or more, you're probably going to want to drop the track or try and reclassify it. We'll get more into how to do that later. But you don't want to be keeping old tracks on your map because you'll be thinking you know what's going on with a certain contact when you really don't, because you haven't gotten any new data in 11 minutes. And then source, this is what sensor you use to detect the track. So this is on manual right now. You can detect them using the spherical sonar, which is in the front of the submarine. I might as well just show it. Spherical sonar is up here. Got the conformal sonar, that's this thing right here. And then a towed array is also another sonar sensor that comes out of these pods here that are mounted beneath the stern plane and the rudder. So yeah, that's the potential sources. Well, and then you could have you could detect them from radar emissions or from radar or from active sonar. It'll show you what sources the track has. All right, so and then yeah, we'll move down here to the bottom left. This outputs the coordinates of your mouse pointer in latitude and longitude, and the depth of your mouse pointer, depth of the ocean at your mouse pointer, and then the scale, obviously 50 nautical miles. So you can come all the way up to 100 nautical miles. Each map in this game is 600 nautical miles by 600 nautical miles. You can zoom all the way into really crazy scale of, I mentioned it earlier, 100 yards. So you can get down to 100 yards, or you can be all the way up at 100 nautical miles. That's a pretty big, large order of magnitude in terms of resolution there. That's pretty cool. So yeah, I think that's everything relevant on the navigation map here. Alright, so now we're going to move to the bridge. It would be called a bridge on a surface ship. It's called the Conn on a submarine, which is, again, short for control room. So we got a lot of stuff going on here, and I remember the first time I played one of these games about, what, 13 years ago, how intimidated I was by all these screens here, and I'll try and break it down. Most of this stuff is stuff that you don't really have control over. Trim angle, this kind of just it's just to show you that it's going on. You don't actually control any of this. Ventilate, use this to change the air on the submarine if you're at, like, on the surface or something, and you can use it to charge high pressure air more quickly if you can get to the surface. Emergency blow, this the way a submarine works is that it takes water in and it keeps water on the submarine to make it heavy enough to sink into the water. So emergency blow is when you shoot a ton of compressed air into your ballast tanks to blow out all that added ballast of water, and it'll make you float and get to the surface really quickly. It's something used for emergencies, obviously. High pressure air, you need this to emergency blow and to launch weapons. So if this depletes or gets below a certain point, you won't be able to launch weapons. I remember as a kid I could never figure out why I couldn't keep launching weapons past a certain point. This is the reason why. Underwater, I believe you can charge this an additional 10%, but you need to surface if you deplete it to actually, like, fully replenish it. This is the towed array. We have a port and a starboard. I've still seen conflicting reports about. I know in the Seawolf one of these arrays is actually more sensitive than the other, but I don't know if that's true in the Los Angeles. This is your best sensor for detecting enemies on the submarine. You can stream it, turn it off, and retrieve it. And by turning it off, it doesn't mean you like stop collecting data. It means you would stream it and then just stop it at whatever length it's at. High frequency sonar, you use this to look through like ice fields or for mines or something like that. This is an active way of emitting. Normally with sonar, when you talk about sonar, you're just listening, but with high frequency sonar, you're actually shooting stuff out and then looking at the return like radar. So people can counter detect you with this, which means they can find out that you're there because you're emitting this. Stern and bow planes, this just shows what angle they're at. You can't control that. And then you got your depth readout, actual and ordered. You can change the order, of course. Rudder, so we can go left full rudder here or right full rudder, and then midships the rudder. I'll do a little maneuvering here, and I'll show you how manipulating the rudder can really affect what your ship is doing. In the earlier game, they didn't really model ship momentum or hydrodynamics that well, but they do in this game, so you're probably not going to be wanting to manipulate the ship manually. You're just going to be wanting to order course changes and letting the AI deal with it. Speed, actual over ordered. Once again, this is our little course compass here. You can order courses on this thing. Sometimes it's better than just trying to punch in a course number. Like if you look at the map, you can be like, all right, well, if I unclick this, the contact here, be like, okay, this is about, you know, I have a sense, you know, I want to be heading about this way to get to that guy. I can do that. Oh, yeah, coming back to the nav map real quickly, another thing you can do in terms of navigation is adding a waypoint. You can do, if you press insert, that'll bring up the waypoint function, or you can actually do, you can right-click your own ship. Well, I guess I should explain the right-click the own ship. I'll get back to that. Let me finish explaining this screen. This is your speed. I forget what the proper name for it is. There's a proper name for this thing, but this is where you can order speeds. 1/3 is 5 knots, 2/3 is 10 knots, standard is 15 knots. Full, I believe, is 20 knots, and flank is just maximum top speed, and then you can go backwards too. And the main ballast tank vents. This is what you use to, if you want to like dive and you're on the surface or something. You don't really have to worry about that. You don't have to do it if you don't want to. Ship will do it yourself if you just order yourself to a deeper depth if you're at the surface. So let's come back to the nav map here. If you right-click your own platform, you get all kinds of other things here. You can do more navigate quick things. Change course. Oh, I've never done this before. That's cool. You can just point to something and it'll change the course to it. Oh, that's really cool. I've never seen that before. Never tried it. You can do, yeah, these quick hotkeys. You can do the depth setting again. Snorkel depth, if you want to recharge your high pressure air without surfacing, that's what you want to go to. Speed changes again. So the waypoint thing, you want to you'd come in here to navigate and you do enter waypoints, and then the ship, the AI will automatically like steer to this waypoint. It'll give you the coordinates, the distance, and what your estimated time of arrival is. This is in the format of hours and minutes. If you double click the waypoint, you can actually tell your ship to change speed and depth once it gets to that waypoint, which is a really cool feature. You can do like some Red October style navigating of underwater canyons or something, maybe, I don't know. Let's go back to right clicking on our main ship. You can what else can you do? You can do the auto crew and the countermeasures, and then you can get to you can remove the range circle. You can show the history. This shows where we've been the whole time, and you can go to the platform reference, which will tell you everything you need to know about the Los Angeles, at least in terms of what's relevant to this game. It'll give you the model and the photo so you know what it looks like. You can use this to figure out if you're, for when you're trying to classify contacts and stuff, figure out what they're capable of, what they can do. And then, let's see, anything else? Nope. Alright, so if we can manually designate this contact as like anything we need it to be, and then the ID, we can make it hostile or friendly. It doesn't matter what ID it is to fire on it. It just matters what platform category it is. So we obviously can't launch a torpedo if this was to read as a missile or an air contact. So we could classify this as a sub, and then we could actually right click it and it'll come with quick launches for the torpedoes. So we could launch a torpedo on it this way or something, and then you can do the confidence too, and then you can classify the contact. This is the classification screen. So through Sonar or other means, you can manually come in here and tell it what it actually is, unless you have like the autocruise on. They'll sort that out for you automatically, and then you can show the history of the track too. That's not something you probably want to be using too much, because if you're fiddling with the solution a lot, it's just going to be like dots all over the place as you try and home in on it, so it's really not too terribly helpful. Alright, I think I've covered everything I wanted to in this first video. Oh, I did want to show like maneuvering, didn't I? Yeah, let's do that. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and get up to flank here. Unfortunately, here, let's try and get a little shallower too. It's going to be hard to like keep our bearings, so I'm actually going to, let's delete this waypoint here. I'll just zoom in on the map and I'll show you what I'm talking about by how maneuvering this thing manually can get kind of tricky sometimes. Okay, here we go, finally. So yeah, this is from the sonar, Conn sonar. So it's addressing to the Conn from the sonar. He's telling us that we're cavitating, which it's because there's not enough pressure in the water. The blade's turning so fast that the water actually boils because the pressure is so low on the one side of the prop, and then as soon as the bubble leaves the area where it formed, it instantly collapses because it hits real pressure, and it makes a crap ton of noise. It also like wears on your propeller, but that's not something you have to worry about in this game. So all you have to know is that cavitating makes a lot of noise. So let's do a left full rudder here. I use the quick key, which is left bracket. So these subs build up a lot of momentum underwater, and since we're not really like on a road or anything, it holds momentum pretty damn well. So we're like getting into a really good turn right here. We're changing bearing pretty quickly. So if I rudder amidships here, that's not rudder amidships. What is rudder amidships? Apostrophe. If I rudder amidships, the rudder is coming to amidships, and once it gets there, we're not going to automatically stop turning. We're still like turning pretty good. Look at this. We'll probably go another almost 180 degrees before this turn stops. So if you were to steer manually, you have to counter the turn by steering the other way. So we do that by right full rudder. And the hotkeys like this are something you might want to employ when you're running from a torpedo, but you probably don't really want to be navigating that way. So just kind of leveled out of that turn right now. I guess I can show some other features. We can emergency blow. It really lets out all the air out of the ballast, and we just go screaming for the surface. See, we're getting above our top speed here. And here we are up on the surface. Beautiful sub that she is. So we can also do the ventilate now. Okay, we want to make sure you secure your emergency blow too, otherwise it'll just keep bleeding high pressure air for no reason. Okay, here's COW, Chief of the Watch. She handles this kind of stuff. So if we do ventilate here, the snorkel will come up right here, and now we can really charge our high pressure air and that'll really go up really quickly, pretty quickly. If you're charging it underwater, it goes a lot slower, but on the surface it charges pretty quickly. Or if we were at snorkel depth, it would be charging pretty quickly too. So yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. I hope this has been pretty helpful. Please make sure you tune in for the next episode. So I'll try to make it so I can explain how to play this game to everyone. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. I'm FPS Chasley. Have a good day.